Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 4. This week's theme is co-regulation in action. Before we dive in, I want to start by saying this out loud. If the last few weeks have felt eye-opening and uncomfortable at times, that makes complete sense. I've been asking you to slow down, notice more, and look at behavior through a different lens, and that can stir things up. So if you're feeling unsure, resistant, or even a little discouraged, you're not doing this wrong. You're doing the work. Before we talk about co-regulation, we need to briefly come back to something from last week, regulating the regulator. Because here's the truth. You cannot co-regulate if you are already overwhelmed, rushed, or dysregulated. That doesn't mean you need to be calm all the time. It just means your nervous system is part of the interaction, whether you intend for it to be or not. When stress hits, our voice changes, our body tightens, our patience shrinks. And kids feel that instantly, especially kids with sensitive or reactive nervous systems. So co-regulation doesn't start with what you say to your child. It starts with what's happening inside of you. This week, I want you to hold this gently. Your regulation doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be supported. Once we tend to our own nervous system, even just a little, then co-regulation becomes possible. Co-regulation is not fixing feelings. It's not long explanations. It's not giving in. It's the process of lending your calm, your steadiness, and your rhythm to a child whose nervous system is overwhelmed. Children borrow regulation before they can build it themselves. That's not a weakness. It's how human nervous systems develop. As I've said previously, our child's nervous system is completely dependent on ours when they are young. Self-regulating for your child under the age of 7 definitely is almost impossible, but there are peaks of time that it does happen. A way of looking at this is they are borrowing our regulation in order to regulate themselves. Co-regulating through connection. Our children find safety through connection. So the more we are anchored in our own safety, the more they are going to be able to borrow ours. And then we're not going to feel depleted after we support our child through an emotional release. How many of you can show up for the kid and get through it? And then at the end, you're like, oh my God, I just got hit by a truck. Because they're borrowing our regulation, they're borrowing our nervous system. And if we're not giving from a place of safety and self-connection, then we're also being drained. And we don't want that because that creates more triggers. That creates less access to that parasympathetic nervous system and regulation. So I have an acronym for you. You can put it on your wall or create a card. This one is called HARBOR, as in safe harbor. We talked about anchoring last week. The parent's acronym is ANCHOR, and the child's acronym is HARBOR. So the H in HARBOR is holding space, and this is literal. This is physically holding space. Some kids need to be touched, they need to be held, they need tactile stimulation to calm them down and to find safety in their body. Holding space is literal here, when sometimes we need to bring our child into a safe environment. I'll give an example here. My daughter broke down and had a big emotional release in the grocery store when she was little. And her nervous system is very, very sensitive, probably because I was very dysregulated much of the time back then. Back then, I had no idea how to regulate myself. So she was sensitive because she was borrowing my nervous system. So here she is, melting down in the middle of the grocery store. We are talking full-blown meltdown. So I put my cart to the side, hoped it would be there when I got back, and took her into the bathroom, into this enclosed space. I didn't have to worry about people judging me. I didn't have to worry about my unconscious fears and perceptions. I was able to bring us both to a safe space where I could focus on what mattered, which was bringing myself and my child back to inner safety through regulation. So in your home, you can have something called a cozy corner or a safe space. It's a little space in a corner or in a closet full of pillows or whatever's comfortable for your child, somewhere for them to go if they need that space. So now, moving forward into the A in harbor, this is accepting what is. This is similar to being able to name what's happening in anchor. This is accepting that my child is having an emotional release and this is my job. I chose to have children. I'm choosing to parent this child, and this is my job. So you set down any distractions. I put my phone down, I close my computer, I push the to-do list to the side for a moment, and I'm going to show up and accept what is without trying to fix it, change it, or make it go away. The more I lean in, the quicker it's going to dissolve. Moving into the R in harbor is remembering my child's sensory needs. So similar to you, your child also has sensory needs. Do they need movement? Can you get some laughter going in them? If they are a hitter, can you get them to slap your hands like a high five instead? Can you turn it into play or into a game? Does your child need auditory deprivation? Do they need to go outside? My daughter needed that deep pressure that came from a wraparound bear hug. It settled her right down. Now we are at the B in harbor, and this is to be low, slow, and soft. One wonderful way of co-regulating, and this is via the words of Stephen Porges we talked about a couple weeks ago, I talked about last time, is through having a soft gaze, having relaxed facial muscles, and getting low to the ground. We're really wanting to ground them as low down as we can. And we're wanting to slow down our speech, and we're wanting to get really soft. So this is important that some children, when they're at a 10 in their thermometer, they're not going to do well with your speech, with you talking. So we can meet them in our body language, meeting their hard face with a soft face, giving empathy and showing them we see their feeling, and we are showing them that they're safe. Another one is using your tone, using a really, really safe, gentle tone. It's going to help our children feel safe here. So the O in harbor is open to connection. We're wanting to melt. We are wanting our children to melt into our connection, to release that stimuli that's stored in their nervous system through connection. Open yourself up. What we are wanting to do is not be afraid of our children's emotional triggers. We are not afraid because we have the tools. We have the frameworks. So it's no problem. We're going to get through it. And the more we get through it with ease, the less intense, the less frequent, and the less scary they're going to be for you and your child, because we are developing their nervous system and integrating the brain. Finally, the R in harbor is reminding your child they are safe. This is where a little bit of verbal reassurance comes in. So after we've met them in our nonverbal empathy, that body language, once we see them going down on the thermometer and connecting with us, we can let them know with our words, "You're safe. That was a big one, wasn't it? You had a lot of feelings in there, didn't you?" Or if it's an older kid, "Oh, yeah, it's really healthy. I'm glad you got that out. Thank you for letting me be here with you." So HARBOR is an acronym we use to remind us how to show up for and with our kids in co-regulation. This week, we're also going to talk about something that helps co-regulation work in real life: rhythm. Many parents tell me, "I have routines, but they fall apart when my child is upset." And that is because routines organize behavior, but rhythm organizes the nervous system. Routine is about what happens when things go as planned. Rhythm is what holds when the plan falls apart. Rhythm might look like the same song before school, a predictable breath together before transitions, a familiar bedtime cue that tells the body it's safe to rest. These are small body-based signals of safety, and they matter more than we realize. Sorry about that. In our live call, we're going to look at where co-regulation fits into your real day. We're going to talk about common moments like mornings, transitions, and bedtime. We're going to choose one small rhythm to practice over the week, not 10, just one. Because this is not about doing more. It's about doing less with more intention. So before we meet live, I invite you to reflect on which part of the day feels hardest right now. What happens in your body when your child escalates? Where could a 2-minute rhythm fit naturally? You don't need to fix your child. You don't need to get this perfect. You're learning how to create safety and connection one moment at a time. I'm really looking forward to being together live this week. See you soon.